Once upon a time, in a bustling city filled with towering skyscrapers and glitzy storefronts, there lived a woman named Isabella Duval. Isabella was strikingly beautiful, with a quiet elegance that drew the attention of anyone who crossed her path. But she wasn't just known for her looks. She was a powerful woman, a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech empire that she had built from the ground up. Her company, Duval Technologies, was a household name, known for its cutting-edge innovations that changed the way the world communicated. However, Isabella had a secret that she kept from even the closest people in her life. Despite being one of the wealthiest women in the world, she chose to live a modest life. She wore simple clothes, drove an old car, and rented a small, unassuming apartment in a quiet neighborhood. She avoided the public eye and kept her true identity hidden, pretending to be just another ordinary woman struggling to make ends meet. The reason for this charade was simple yet painful. Isabella had been married for 5 years to a man named Thomas. Thomas was charming, with a magnetic smile and an easygoing personality that made him irresistible. To the outside world, they seemed like the perfect couple, beautiful, successful, and in love. But behind closed doors, their marriage was anything but perfect. Thomas was a man driven by greed and ambition, but lacking in true self-worth. He resented Isabella's success and felt threatened by her intelligence, power, and independence. Slowly, his resentment turned into emotional abuse, and his behavior became manipulative. He would belittle her achievements, mocking her for not spending her wealth lavishly. He told her she wasn't living up to her potential and pressured her to sell her company, something she would never do. When Isabella tried to stand up for herself, Thomas would put her down, calling her selfish and controlling. He would often disappear for days at a time, only to return and accuse her of being distant or unloving. It wasn't long before their marriage began to unravel, but Isabella endured the pain in silence. She refused to let anyone know the truth, keeping her struggles hidden behind her facade of normalcy. The final blow came when Isabella's best friend, Lily, entered the picture. Lily was everything Thomas desired: beautiful, ambitious, and seemingly carefree. She was also unaware of Thomas's abusive behavior towards Isabella, as he was charming and polite around her. But Thomas, ever the opportunist, began to make subtle advances towards Lily, convincing himself that she was the woman he truly deserved. Isabella, sensing the growing tension, confronted Thomas, only to be met with cruel accusations and a declaration of love for Lily. Thomas confessed that he had fallen in love with her and wanted to divorce Isabella. Heartbroken but resolute, Isabella agreed. The divorce proceedings were quick, and to her surprise, Thomas didn't even seem to regret his decision. Instead, he eagerly began his new life with Lily, leaving Isabella behind. But the truth, as it always does, has a way of coming to light. A few months after the divorce, Thomas's life began to spiral. His relationship with Lily was anything but smooth, and he found himself struggling in his career. His once promising future seemed to be crumbling before his eyes. Desperate, he took a job at Duval Technologies, thinking it would provide him with a fresh start. He had no idea that Isabella was still the CEO, nor did he know that she had never really left the company. It had merely been a well-kept secret. One day, during a routine meeting with the executive team, Thomas walked into the conference room, only to see Isabella sitting at the head of the table, looking every bit the powerful and confident woman she truly was. She had traded her modest clothes for a sleek, tailored suit, and her presence radiated authority and grace. The room fell silent as she looked at him, her eyes betraying no emotion. "Thomas," she said coolly, her voice steady. "I see you've decided to join my company." For a moment, he could only stare at her, stunned by the revelation. He had no idea that she was the woman behind Duval Technologies, the company he had joined out of desperation. He was embarrassed, humiliated even, as the realization dawned on him. The woman he had so callously discarded was not only far wealthier than he could ever imagine, but she was the one who had built the very empire that had once seemed so out of reach. As the weeks went by, Thomas tried to ignore the discomfort he felt working under Isabella. But he couldn't shake the feeling of regret and shame that lingered in his mind. He had treated her like nothing, throwing away a loving woman for a fleeting desire. Meanwhile, Isabella had built an empire, become one of the most influential women in the world, and had done it all without his help. He had underestimated her, and now he was forced to confront the reality of his own failure. Isabella, on the other hand, was in control of the situation. She had moved on long ago, and she had no intention of letting Thomas back into her life. She watched him squirm as he tried to impress her with his work, his attempts to seek her forgiveness falling on deaf ears. Isabella had long forgiven him, if only because she no longer cared. The woman he had once belittled was now his boss, and he realized, far too late, the true value of the woman he had abandoned. Thomas's regret grew with each passing day. He watched as Isabella thrived, leading her company to greater heights, and it became painfully clear to him that he would never be able to earn her trust again. Lily, too, began to distance herself from him, realizing that the life Thomas had promised her was a lie built on the ruins of his own insecurity. In the end, Thomas was left with nothing, no love, no career, and no future. Isabella, on the other hand, continued to build her legacy, stronger and more successful than ever. She had learned that true power doesn't come from wealth or appearance, but from resilience, self-worth, and the ability to walk away from those who seek to tear you down. And as for Thomas, he would forever remember the woman he had once discarded, the woman who was now his boss, his reminder of his own brokenness.